Hi, I am yet again not seamless, and today I'm going to show you how to make this sound. This tutorial is the second out of 3 videos in which I cover these 3 sounds you're seeing here. Links to the other 2 videos in this series will be in the description. Alrighty then, this sound is a Harmor resynthesized version of this first sound here, which I covered in the previous video with the Neuro processing patcher disabled. I first recorded the first bass sound using Edison. This is what the recording sounds like. I then put the sample into a new Harmor. First though, let's listen to what this Harmor sounds like with all the post effects disabled. Alright, now let's look into this Harmor. First thing I did was to import the recorded sample into both parts. Part A for the mono sound and part B for the stereo. The denoise is also turned down a tad. First, let's listen to what both parts sound like individually, and then go over each one by itself. Alright, let's start with part A, as it is the main bit of the sound. I'm utilizing the form and mutation function here, as I often tend to do when resynthesizing something in Harmor. The mix knob is set at 75%. The form and mutation window is set as follows. I'm also using a little bit of phase randomness on the spectral mode, which randomizes the phases of each harmonic differently. The unison and prism functions are used here as well. Both shut off or almost off relatively quickly. Furthermore, I'm using the phaser on the harmonic mode, which reacts directly to the pitch value of each harmonic. I brought down the effect of the phaser on the low end via the phaser mask in order to keep the low end stable. To boot, I'm using one of the filters to create this custom shape right here, which is essentially just some notches and negative peak filters. The cutoff parameter is automated. I use the filter mask to trim down the effect of the filter as I wanted to keep it subtle. Finally, I'm cutting down some frequencies that I don't want to be dominant under the distortion via the local and global EQs. And now to part B of this Harmor. First of all, in the image section, I set the image sharpening down by a bit, and I also turned the image form and shift mix knob up to around 35%. The form and mutation window is set like so. I'm using a lot of phase randomness here, and I'm also using the unison with 3 voices on the classic mode. The harmonic unison pitch window is set as follows. Moreover, the prism function is also used. Additionally, the phaser is also used. It ain't doing much though. Finally, I used both the global and local EQs as pre-distortion EQs, similarly to what I did in part A. And now to the FX tab. I used some distortion, chorus reverb and compression. As I often tend to do when using reverb on bass sounds, I set the decay and the room size rather low, which gets me that neat metallic quality to the sound. Moving on to the mixer effects, I first have this flanger, which has its mix level set at 30%. Following that, is a chorus which has its mix level set to a similar degree. Then there is this pre-distortion EQ, which is followed by a wave shaper for some saturation. Afterwards, there's this patcher, which is doing my usual neuro processing. Firstly, a relatively thin bandpass filter, a notch and almost a notch are automated. Before we move on, let's look at the automation. The purple clip represents the movement of the bandpass, which is responsible more or less for the rhythm of the sound. The yellow and the weird reddish thing are controlling the movement of the two notches. Notice how they move less radically. These notches are there to give different textures and color to the sound. Next, the filtered signal is split into two, the main sound and the chorus signal. Both go into different pre-distortion EQs, which mainly cut out the sub-frequencies which are subsequently added into the distortion via the clean sub-signal. All three signals are then sent into a wave shaper for distortion. The distorted signal then goes through a high-pass filter which cuts off the impure sub. Finally, both signals undergo minor multiband compression. Alright, that is it for this one. In the next tutorial, I will be showing you how to make this sound, which is a resampled version of the first sound as well. Be sure to check out the other two videos in this series, links to those will be in the description. Welp, I have been Not Seamless. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and all that good stuff. And as always, thanks for watching and have a nice day.